Hello, I'm Stuart Tucker, and this is a meditation for May 28th, 2020. Tonight, my congregation is gathering via video conference to discuss reopening our church, in-person worship. Um, it's going to be a long process. We have guidelines from our annual conference. They are extensive. I heard one person describe them as draconian. But given our situation, I'm convinced that's how they should be. And I'm reminded, my thoughts go back here. I am at this stage of my ministry, obviously approaching the end of it. I'm thinking of the beginning of it, how my journey as a pastor began. It began with my decision to enter seminary and being accepted at Duke University. Well, I lived and was born and raised, in fact, in Los Angeles County. So my journey began in a 1970 Volkswagen Beetle. I drove in January of 1975 all the way from Long Beach, California to Durham, North Carolina. It took 6 days. At the end of day 5, I checked into a hotel in Asheville, North Carolina. Couldn't quite make it on that 5th day. It was a Holiday Inn, I think. This is before they had cable TV and HBO in motels. So I'm too exhausted to go to sleep right away. I have to wind down, and so I'm turning on, and I turn on the public television channel, local, and lucky me, it was a documentary of a church in North Carolina, how they worshipped. And it turned out, and this was something I'd never heard of before, there was a congregation of snake handlers, and they're of the Pentecostal tradition, and which is something I didn't know very much about either. And there they were, having their spirit-filled worship. To an outsider seemed very chaotic, and then they open up a bin, and here's all these rattlesnakes and copperheads, and they are picking them up and dancing around with them. And my thought at the time was, is this what churches are like in North Carolina? I didn't know anything about North Carolina other than watching Andy of Mayberry. Have I driven 5 miles, and what have I gotten myself into? Well, pretty soon I discovered that's not how Methodists in North Carolina worship, much to my relief. But I think back to 1975 and my reaction, and where we are now. We Methodists are still not snake handlers, and certainly not Methodists here in Plainville. So we're going to be very deliberate. I don't want to be in the position of the pastor of that snake handling church, because at the end of the documentary, they were carrying him out. He had been bit. And I remember his comment was, "We don't know why this happened. It's the Lord's will." And my answer to that is, yes, we do know why this happened. You were picking up a poisonous snake. God's will, having given us brains, is that we use them. So, it may be here at Plainville that we won't meet in person for either a certain date or, for a long time. That's what the discussion is going to be about. Can we do this without the equivalent of handling deadly snakes? And that is a question yet to be answered. We have to look at other churches and their experience, because some are rushing on, some have prepared ahead of time. In any case, the preparations that the guidelines call for are going to be useful and good, no matter when we open, like having hand sanitizer, for instance, at the doors, and other practices that just keep us safe anyway. So that's what I'm meditating on today, which is May 28th, 2020. And I hope that you are meditating on how you can go about your day-to-day and be safe, and trust in the Lord. Goodbye, and God bless you all.